Welcome back to the channel, guys. I know it's been a while. It's been about 2 months. Just been busy with the holidays and haven't been doing much hauling lately. But anyways, just thought I would do a 50,000 mile review on the Cummins swapped F350 that I have. And while we're at it, I'm going to go over a few updates that I've made to the truck over the past 2 months since the last video. It has a little over 50,000. It's about 55,000 miles on it now. And the truck has been flawless. I've only had 1 or 2 issues, one of them being the Ford alternator. That was the original one, crapped out on me, but got that fixed with a Meacham 240 amp alternator, which is a huge upgrade. And then the only other issue that I've had is the original harmonic balancer on the 12 valve, which had just shy of 450,000 miles on it, went out. And it went out because old age, and oil had deteriorated the rubber because it had a few front main seal leaks over its lifespan. But once I replaced that, a new front main seal, it's been pretty much flawless. Building this truck has been the best investment I have made, minus buying my house. I spent a little over $2,000 to put this truck together and build it, and over the past 50,000 miles and some change, I've put less than $1,000 into it, maintenance wise. Now that excludes oil changes and transmission flush and stuff like that. That's just hard parts that have failed on me. This truck has not left me stranded. When the alternator did go, it was a long drive home, but we did make it home. But other than that, the mechanics of the engine and the Ford 5R110 have been perfect. Have no complaints. But anyways, I'm gonna go over a little bit about this truck, and then we'll go into the rest of the video. So if you don't know already, this is a 1998 12 valve Cummins. Has a P pump on it. Came out of an automatic single cab Dodge. It has 450,000 miles on it, and very minor performance upgrades. The biggest one that you can see is the compound turbos, and this is a mild setup. It's the stock HX35, which, by the way, it's the original HX35, has never been rebuilt, and then a rebuilt HX55 on the bottom. This setup will make 50 pounds of boost, and that is on factory 12 valve injectors. These are the original injectors. They have never been removed out of the head. Also, the only other fueling grades I have are 3,000 RPM governor springs and 17 degrees of timing. Other than that, the fueling is completely stock, minus a fuel plate. The fuel plate is also removed, but the AFC is stock. I have both batteries on the driver's side, and then did all my custom cables here. I like that, it's clean, and I'm the only one that ever works on this truck, so I didn't care to have black and red cables. Also, we have an aluminum radiator tank here. And then over here, one of the other changes that I've made is I built this intake box. Before, I just had the filter open, and on long grades, pulling heavy loads, it would get heat soaked and my EGTs would start to climb a little bit and I'd lose a little bit of horsepower. Now I've got the filter enclosed. As you can see, it's a tight fit down there, but still fits. The filter's enclosed. This is plexiglass, and then it draws air. As you can see, that's all open into the filter right there. Gets all the air from right there, and then the fender is cut out down there to draw air directly from behind the bumper. This truck is using the factory Ford 5R110 that now has 197,000 miles on it, and it is all original. Has not had any modifications, has never been out, never been rebuilt. The only thing that's done to it is it has the 08 to 10 upgraded filter and pan. And that's it. It has the factory transmission control and ECM from the Powerstroke. And I have it tuned with some custom tunes I did with an SCT programmer. And this truck pulls heavy almost daily. If you've seen my other videos, you know. And I don't have any complaints. I wish it was a 450, so I had better brakes, but other than that, I can't complain. This engine pulls extremely well, and I would not have any problems putting this engine and this truck up against any brand new truck. I would take this one over any brand new truck any day of the week. All right, let's hop on the inside here. Now, one thing people have issues with Cummins swaps is a lot of them are done where nothing works. And that could be a pain if you're gonna daily drive this and have a family and a wife that could possibly drive it, because nothing would work. But on my swap, everything works, and everything still works even after putting 50,000 miles on it. I've made a few upgrades since the last video. I now have an Edge CTS2, and then I have auxiliary switches here to take up the place of where my old Torque Pro was to monitor my ECM gauges. But these gauges are still the same: boost, fuel pressure, pyrometer, and then everything on the dash. I'll go ahead and turn the key on, fire this thing up. As you can see, everything works. RPM comes right on. I do have a check engine light because I did not go in and clear all the injector codes when I did the programming of the transmission. But I have pyrometers working, fuel pressure. Boost is not reading right now because, well, the engine isn't making no boost. But after the CTS comes on, I'll show you the gauges that it's reading off of the ECM. And these are all gauges that the Powerstroke could read, or that it would read when I had a Powerstroke. And I'll have a separate video on the CTS2 because we're going to go into some extra gauges I'm going to add to it so I can data log everything and see if I can make this thing pull any better. But here we go. Got RPM, gear, volt. That new alternator does really good on voltage. I have manifold absolute pressure, boost, which is the intermediate boost on the turbos, throttle position, exhaust back pressure, engine coolant temp, and then transmission temp. And we'll have some more gauges, some more monitors on there whenever the next video comes. I got to order a few things, but everything works. He said almost 197,000 miles. It's 196, and it's been completely flawless. I do change my oil every 3,000 miles, so that does get expensive, but that's just something that I like to do. As far as the longevity of the Ford parts that are still on here, the factory intercooler is still doing well. It doesn't have any leaks. The plastic intakes have not busted yet, even though I can run up to 50 pounds of boost, which was a worry of mine, but it's still going. I am going to replace that eventually. The factory Ford radiator is doing a very, very good job. I have not had one cooling issue. It's very sufficient for this smaller motor than the Powerstroke. The only issue I think I would change is, even though the transmission cooler does a outstanding job, I would go to a bigger one or just do a double transmission cooler. But other than that, everything works great. Even the original Dodge AC compressor, which is down there, works really well with the Ford system. Haven't had any issues with that. Blows cold no matter what I'm doing. The heat works all the time. The brakes, I'm using the Dodge power steering pump, which also powers the hydro boost here, and have not had any issues out of that. All in all, this is a very well-rounded swap, and I would trust anyone just to hop in this truck and drive it across country and not have a single issue. I would recommend a swap to anyone that feels comfortable in their mechanicking skills. As long as you do it right, these swaps can last forever, and I intend on this one lasting me forever. Well, there's your 50,000 mile review of my 2004 F350 Cummins swapped with a 1998 12 valve compound turbo Cummins and utilizing the Ford factory 5R110 automatic. It has been the best truck I've owned as far as pulling power, maintenance free, and reliability. And it's extremely comfortable to drive. It's been a really good truck. If anybody has any questions, feel free to leave your comments or questions in the comments, and I will get back to you very rapidly. I'm good about that. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.